Nobody's gonna love me like you do. It's your voodoo, and I'm so amazed. Resurrect me from my grave. You love me, I'm your slave, but that's what you do. We cannot be in love. No boundaries, your love surrounding me. But I'll win it all because I got you. It's all about you, yeah. Be not ashamed, cause I love everything about you. I'm attuned to you. We cannot be in love. No boundaries, your love surrounding me. Needle in the haystack, you found me. Balanced on my chakras, I'm grounded, unlocked on my lockers. Astounded by what love can do when I'm loving you. No boundaries, your love surrounding me. 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 I'm just a magician, looking for some loving. Hoping you'll give me a chance. I wanna join your coven. We can do a ritual. The man right here, everything mystical. You mind if I lick you slow? Without you, I've been miserable. I guess I need some company. I need my women crush Wednesday humping me. Call your girlfriends, now they jumping me. Open his portals, guess it's up to me. Manifestation, have your way with me, goddess. I submit to your grace. Set your intentions. You can do it all while sitting on my face. Holding on means letting go. Na 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 na. The ones who burn you cold. Na 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 na. Promise me you'll love me so. Na 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 na. Future we will never know. Please come back to me. I never wanted you to leave. If you come and see, I can be who you need me to be. Na 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 na. Never wanted you to leave. Na 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 na. Who you need me to be. Na na na. Peace to the tribe, peace to the collective. It is your boy, Hood Mystic. Represent www.hoodmystic.com. Well, I was going to say Urban Exchange, but ColumbianExchange.com. WhiteRabbitSite.com. This video came from Study, and we're going to call this Scientific Spirituality this morning, where we look at science and we integrate it into spirituality and spiritual development. Because generally, when you look at science and scientists, you might feel like they full of shit. And then when you talk about spirituality, it's like they full of shit too, right? Because
I mean, if you don't practice discernment when it comes to spirituality, then you a crash dummy. You know, it's like relationships, right? People will be like, oh, I just love him so much. And he ain't shit ass nigga. Y'all could do the same thing with y'all spiritual people. Oh, I just love you. I love your message so much. I don't give a fuck if you love me. You better do your spiritual work, right? You better get the foundations and fundamentals of it. I'm not here to be your friend. I'm here to explain things that maybe you don't understand. So today we're going to be talking about fractals in the universe and relating it to the goddess, because I'm working on a article on my Substack. Link is in the description, on the Empress. And we ended the High Priestess video and we ended the High Priestess article with explaining the differences between the High Priestess and the Empress, and just tapping into the different variations of the goddess. And as I'm working on this article, I felt like, damn, this is too good to not share. Right? This is too powerful not to share. And that's what I'm gonna do today. And I hope that everybody is doing well. Everybody is doing fine. Give me a second. Bring up this chat so I can see. Make sure y'all can hear me. Peace to everybody. Peace to everybody. So let's first talk about fractals. What are fractals? What are fractals? Right? I hear that word and I didn't, I didn't understand it. So hit up the internet to do my due diligence, do my research to understand what a fractal is. And then it made sense. Fractals are small pieces of universal structure that explains universal cosmology, or the study and understanding of the cosmos at the largest scale and at the smallest scale. That is another way for saying as above, so below. So we're bringing forth a spiritual, scientific revelation that it might sound like gobbledygook. It might sound like mumbo jumbo, because what we're referencing is chaos. So I'm going to come back to fractals, right? But first, let me introduce the concept or the energy or the deity or the goddess chaos. Hope y'all got on y'all thinking caps this morning. One's in the chat if you got on your thinking cap this morning. One's in the chat if you with me. Fucking with me this morning in this edition of Hood in the Morning. I appreciate your viewership. I appreciate your support. But at the end of the day, the most important thing is that you do your spiritual work and you hear the messages from your higher self, your soul, guides, ancestors, things of that nature. So the purpose of this video is to promote clarity so you can have some form of cognizance when it comes to the invisible chaotic structures, which are very, very important. So chaos, Chaos, or chaos, Chos, was the first of the primordial gods, the proto-Genoi, to emerge at the dawn of creation. She was followed in quick succession by Gaia, Earth, and Tartaros, the pit below, and Eros, procreation. Chaos was the lower atmosphere which surrounds the Earth, both invisible air and the gloom of fog and mist. The word chaos means gap or chasm, being the space between heaven and earth. Chaos was the mother and grandmother of the misty estices, Erebros, the mist of the netherworld darkness, Aether, the ethereal mist of heaven, Nyx, the night, Hemera, the day, as well as numerous emotion driving daemoness or spirits which haunted it. She was also a goddess of fate, like her daughter Nyx, the granddaughters of Morai and Moray. As the goddess of the air, Chaos was the mother of the birds, just as Gaia, the earth, was the mother of land animals, Thalassa, the sea, the mother of fish. Late classical authors redefined chaos as the chaotic mix of elements which existed in the primordial universe, conflating it with the primal mud of the Orphic cosmogony. The modern English word chaos derives from this. Now, this is where we get our understanding of chaos. And give me 1 second. So now, if we are not specifically told about the processes of the universe, then we will simply look at the processes of the universe as chaotic. So when it comes to understanding yourself as a goddess or a figure of the goddess, we don't have the patience or the wherewithal to begin to explore our goddess nature because it's never elucidated or explained to us clearly. Because when we are experiencing things such as chaos, we don't view it from scale. We are immersed in the chaos. So, what is a rite of passage? What is a transformation? What is a growth process begins to be a traumatic experience that you did not deal with, that you did not understand, and you didn't see it from a holistic perspective. You only seen it from your immersion. So as a spiritual being, you have to tap into your invisible chaos, the goddess of the air. You have to tap into your etheric beingness to begin to scale out. One's in the chat if you understand what I mean. Two's in the chat if we're going to go further in the clarification. Everybody has went through some form of trial and tribulation that they have overcome that has made them smarter, stronger, better, more prepared for the present moment. To which, when you look at that traumatic moment and begin to scale back at it, you become to be grateful for it because it allowed for that growth process. To which, when you start to examine your trauma, your pain, your emotional suppression, you don't look at it as a thing for which you don't want to do. You look at it as a way for which you are able to grow. A seed on top of the earth does not grow into become its flower. A butterfly or a caterpillar that does not cocoon itself does not become a butterfly, for which the process of all spiritual beings, butterflies, plants, you, me, is the process of going into the darkness, going into the chaos, going into the confusion, going into the misunderstanding to gain understanding. That is the way of life. So when we talk about a fractal, we're talking about this base principle of manifestation. We're talking about the base principle of working with the goddess. In my new moon video, and this is very clear, this is something that should go without saying, but it needs to be said. If you want changes in your life, you have to work specific with the invisible, etheric, spiritual, effervescent mist of the goddess to bring about changes in your life. At the smallest scale, the seed has to deal with the goddess to become a flower. At the smallest scale, the caterpillar has to go with the goddess to transform into the butterfly. And for you as a human being, to which you feel as though, well, damn, dead end job. Well, damn, career, dead end career. I live on a dead end street. My life is horrible. Not, I am in the darkness that is going to bring about my growth and development. No, it is. So we're talking about mindsets, and we're talking about understandings in an area where a lot of people will be confused and misunderstand. And if I misunderstand something for which I want to understand, that leads to frustration, that leads to anger, that leads to hate, that leads to doubt, that leads to a whole bunch of negative emotions that don't need to be there. What needs to be there is understanding. Spiritual development is like building a house, for which if you don't understand how to build a house, it's going to be hard to build it. If you don't understand spiritual development, it's going to be hard to develop. So what we're talking about is the precise way to manifest free of charge. No trinkets, no crystals, no nothing. We're talking about how to manifest if you was butt naked in the forest and you had no internet access. One's in the chat if that would be something that you're interested in learning. One's in the chat if you're tired of having a disclaimer in reference to what and how you're going to manifest in life. One's in the chat if you want a direct access to goddess with no intercessory, with no accessory, with no mental stimulant, with no herb, no mushroom, no meditation, no ritual. What I'm offering you is to simply understand your life, to tap you in to manifestation portals. What I'm saying is, if you got $2 in your pocket and you can't afford to you don't know where your next meal is coming from, I'm offering you access to the goddess. Because when it comes to improving your life, Kyrie can't do that. Your favorite internet professional cannot do that. It is your direct intercessory access with the goddess, with chaos. Chaos is within you. You are chaos. You didn't have to pay no money for chaos to be in you. Chaos was in you since you was a little child. Look at your child and tell me that's not chaos. At a certain level. Unpredictability, for which at a certain level, when you have a kid and they're chaotic, because you know the pattern, right? You're like, they'll work themselves out of it. They'll become 12. They're not going to act the same way if they were when they were 4. And if they do, then we have a problem, right? But generally speaking, you allow your child to work through their chaos because you understand the pattern. You knew when you were a child, you were on some bullshit, but you eventually grew out of it. You eventually grew out of it. So when we talk about understanding patterns, we're talking about the level of understanding the chaos. we're looking at a world where these human beings on this planet, and nobody is giving us a book on how to survive in this planet. There's animals, there are trees, there's plant life, there's snakes, there's insects, there's all of this shit that is preventing us from being our higher self. Yet and still, we have managed to overcome all of the disease, all of the illness, all of the plague, all of the iniquity to be alive in this moment. And the only way for which a human being has able to survive as a species on this planet is the power and the direct access to the goddess. That's going to save your ass, not me. Understanding things at scale, at the smallest scale, at the most minute scale, at the DNA level, at the breath level, at the consciousness level, at the intuitive level, when your soul tells you to do something and you say, well, I'm too busy. Well, that is you avoiding the goddess. When your soul says you need to relax, that is you avoiding the goddess, because everybody is programmed by the patriarchal ignorance of what are we dealing with here? We're dealing with the first primordial goddess. One's in the chat if we're talking about the first primordial goddess. The first primordial goddess from which births everything. So what we're talking about is relaxing and easing into your spiritual power, because that is the only way for which a person can't access it. Nobody, I promise you, your spirit guides, your ancestors are not speaking through nobody. They're speaking directly to you. And if you feel as though you have to pay out, you have to sacrifice, you have to give to get access to yourself, then you are misdirected. So let's look at this real quick. The seed is the flower, but the seed must descend into darkness to ever be able to rise up as a flower. This is the process of growth and development. So to scale this back to human psychology and to personal development, these are the times in your life where you are going crazy and you feel like you are not doing enough. You are not doing a good job. You are not living up to society standards. This is your opportunity for growth. However, your way of looking at it is, I am a bad person. This is why the goddess, which is Bana, which is Capricorn, which is also the devil, which is also the underworld, is looked at as negative. But yet and still, it is the process of all growth and all nourishment. One's in the chat if that makes sense. Because working with the goddess is growth. But working with the goddess is removing the ego. Working with the goddess is to separate yourself, to find your true growth, to find your true tribe, to find your true mycology center where everybody around you is working with the same mother. Now, the caterpillar is a regular person, right? The caterpillar is a human being. The caterpillar goes to work every day. The caterpillar takes care of its kids. The caterpillar does what it needs to do. But the butterfly is the caterpillar, but just a caterpillar that has evolved from its darkness, that evolved from its cocoon to develop its wings. So spiritual beings have a certain characteristic of negative experiences for which they have to overcome. This is where you get the scam artists. This is where you are easily scammed. From church, from spiritual groups, from resource centers, to wherever people is like, hey, I got a solution for you, because they know that your base negrito, your base level is that you are unaware of the goddess. And the continued exploitation of your ignorance is from people who have no sincere connection with the goddess themselves. They are using spirituality as a way to further their patriarchy, their survival, their finances, their cars, their trips, their livelihood is based upon them furthering people to something else away from themselves, which is within themselves, to which should be your guide out. You should move out through positivity, through healing your darkness. So the difference between this is when you have a breakup, and instead of going through the healing process, you go right to another guy. When you have severe trauma that you have experienced, but you don't get help into dealing with it, so you work 2 jobs, so you're never at home, and you make enough money to whereas you could just basically pay to sleep in a bed, right, safely. So you can wake up and immerse yourself in all of this stuff outside of you, but never take the time to deal with the darkness, because the darkness facilitates growth. Light does not facilitate growth only up until it emerges out of the darkness. This is why the moon and Venus are the energies of growth, or the energies of birth, or the energies of luxury. Because what we're talking about is what you'll manifest at the seed level. In the comments, in the chat, if you're watching this video post live, what will your seed produce? Can we get some feedback in the chat? Can we get some feedback in the comments? Can we get some feedback in your journal? Because if you don't know what your seed is going to produce, your seed is going to produce luxury. Your seed is going to produce fortune. Your seed is going to produce iniquity. Now, the reason that you talk like this, you bring this understanding to your awareness, is because if you don't do the shadow work, then what you're saying without saying is that your seed is going to produce more confusion. Your seed is going to produce more suppression. And although you want a life of luxury, a life of, expansiveness, because everything luxurious, everything high level success does not come from hard work and grit. It comes from Venus and it comes from Jupiter. It comes from planting the seed, and it comes from luck. It's luck every day that you live and you survive that day. You have no control over that. You can walk outside right now and the piano fell off a plane and came down and crushed you on your head, and there was nothing that you could do about it. It's only luck that's preventing a boulder from you ever been driving on the highway and the mountain is on this side, it's a high ass mountain. It's only luck that's preventing that mountain from that boulder from falling down and crushing you on your head. So in reference to success, we might say, if I work hard, yeah, you worked hard, but then a boulder came and crushed you on your head. All that hard work for nothing. So what we're talking about is Jupiter represents completion. So the seed then becomes a completed endeavor, but we have to actually work ourselves through these spiritual steps. However, this is why Venus is the planet of luxury. This is why Venus represents the fractal. This is why Venus represents the scale, because if at the seed level, I program my seed to luxury and wealth, and I don't tell nobody, I just nurture that seed. I water that seed. I grow that seed. Oh, it's sprouting a little bit. I continue to water it. I continue to water it. It grows a little bit. I water it. Boom. I water it. Oh, it's now it gets to Jupiter. Boom. That's the harvest. Jupiter is the harvest. So I take that luxury. I take that wealth. Okay. And then I do stuff with it. And then this is astrology, is agriculture, because then we go to Saturn. What is Saturn? What does Saturn have? Saturn have that sickle. What is that sickle for? That sickle is to cut the corn stalks. It's to clear the field of the old harvest, which is a necessary process, because then the next season, guess what? We got to plant that seed again. We got to bring it into manifestation. Then we got to bring it into completion, and then we have to clear it. This is a process. Now, why are we studying astrology? Why are we developing spiritually? Because we want to get in control of our seed. Now, we then say, okay, Kyrie, make it make sense. Make it make plain. Okay, all right, cool. So we're looking at our darkness. We're looking at our turmoil. We're looking at our confusion as the soil. This is all scale. This is all fractal. This is scientific spirituality. We don't avoid it by the feel-good spirituality. We don't avoid it by loving light. We don't avoid it by calling ourselves light workers. We don't avoid it by saying good vibes only. We don't avoid it by only dealing with the things that we like. We avoid it by dealing with our darkness, because our darkness are our opportunities for growth. Now, we deal with our darkness with the recollection of what our seed is going to be produced. Now, at scale, this is the process of growth and development. To which, if you find yourself in a process where you're not growing, it's mainly because you haven't explored your darker emotions. Darker emotions like what? Darker emotions like abandonment, attachment, trauma, the misunderstandings of the holistic reason for experiences. Now, I don't know if Brandy's still in the chat, but Brandy had a wonderful explanation of the misunderstandings of the holistic reason for experiences. She was explaining something that happened in the past that, as she began to look at it from another perspective, where she went to the person's house that had done something in the past and seen how he was living and seeing the energy that he came up in. So his expression towards her wasn't just like she was such a bad person, but she began to understand the qualities and the conditions that created this boy or created this man that would act in a certain type of way. Now, when you look at your trauma, when you look at the negative things that happen and the people who have done it, we might be like, man, that's a piece of shit. I can't stand him. I hate him. I wish something bad would happen to him. But that is not exploring your darker emotions. That is a misunderstanding and not looking at it holistically. You're only looking at it from your position. So, and I get it. And it's completely understandable. But at the same time, it ain't shit you can do about it but understand. That's all you can do about it. Is gain understanding, is gain perspective, and you're exploring your darker emotions. These are not just dark caves within you that go unexplored. See, in these caves, what you don't know, in this darkness, in this dirt, in this soil, you're naturally allowing yourself to germinate. You're naturally beginning to expose that skin. Man, the seed is nothing. The dirt is nothing. But when you put them together, the rain is nothing. But when you put them together, it bursts itself into something. And that is the goddess. The moment that you begin to look at your past and be like, you know what? I'm ready to learn from you. That is when the goddess will speak to you and raise you up, because chaos is the first of the primordial gods. Chaos means gap or chasm. So the chaos of the seed by itself means nothing. The chaos of the soil by itself means nothing, but the chaos, the in-between or the gap, and to be the vessel for chaos and bring those energies together to be the chasm that unites seed and soil, that unites intention and darkness, not love and light. Y'all niggas been loving and lighting for the past 20 years, and the same shit has been manifesting for you. Love and light is not the thing for which that promotes growth. It promotes sight, it promotes vision, but a lot of people use love and light to manipulate, to get a direct line to your direct deposit, to whereas before your direct deposit hit your bank account, they taking $187 out so you can pay a payment on a $2,000 group of a bunch of motherfuckers who don't know shit, a bunch of motherfuckers who are not connected to the goddess, because the goddess is the gap between yourself and your cognition and your intuition and your consciousness. You can't give this to nobody. You have to be strong within yourself. You have to develop your spiritual strength. And what is the spiritual strength of the goddess? It is love. Love. What is love? And the love of the goddess is not conditional. When a murderer puts his seed into the ground, puts water over that seed, it grows into fruit. When a saint puts a seed in the ground, waters it, it grows into a fruit. The Empress is not like the patriarchy. The Empress does not have a hierarchy. The Empress serves the wolf. The Empress serves the squirrel. When the wolf and the squirrel are in a misalignment, the wolf might eat the squirrel. At one level, when you're immersed in the concept of, I can't believe the wolf just ate the squirrel. That squirrel have transitioned into chaos. That squirrel have transitioned into the mist. That squirrel have went back into the bosom of the goddess, for which we all gonna go. It don't matter how you get there. We all go in there. The squirrel go in there, the whale in the ocean go in there, the fish go in there, the bird go in there. Our spiritual essence is going to leave the vessel because the vessel holds the spiritual essence, and we are all mirrors and reflection of chaos. And the only way for which we are to differentiate between misunderstanding and understanding is the individual who loves you because their spirit has loved themselves. The one who has developed and understood unconditional love because they worked through their darkness. They worked through their trauma. They worked through their boyfriend cheating on them. They worked through their girlfriend cheating on them. Man, I dealt with some girls that cheated on me, that had me in darkness. You know how I got over that? I got with me some goddamn hoes that got money, and we got money together. So they cheating on me every day. And I looked at it, well, shit, every girl I get want to fuck other niggas. Might as well get paid for the shit. Alchemize my darkness to whereas it didn't create a long-lasting relationship with hoes. But now when I deal with a girl, and if she want to cheat, I'm going to introduce some game, some ism, or no judgment. I can talk in a way for which I'm not triggered if she say, hey, I want to fuck that nigga over there. Fuck him. I'm the only man in a woman's life that give her that freedom. Most niggas have not healed. There's nothing better than a woman who does not care if you have sex with other women. Because that woman has healed her pain in reference to her hurt. The only reason she mad that you cheating is because she haven't healed her darkness. She haven't ascended into her spiritual beingness. Cause girl, you done had a million lifetimes. You done been a man, woman, girl, boy, fuck, suck, all different types of shit over a million lifetimes. You mean to tell me this nigga in this lifetime is your reason for which you cannot connect to the goddess? That math not mathing to me. Nothing better than a woman who have healed her darkness, healed her pain to allow unconditional love. Well, you mean to say that you gonna just be cheating on me every day and I ain't gonna say nothing or feel nothing? No, that's not what I'm saying. But at the end of the day, life can life. I might meet a girl today, fine as hell, wanting to give me all the head in the world. Now I gotta not get the head that I was supposed to get because I'm married. No, I'm gonna get that head. All hood, you shouldn't be saying that. I've healed my darkness. You haven't healed yours. This is my truth. And now you mad at my truth because you haven't healed yours. And I'm not even fucking you. We not even in a relationship. I don't even know you. Y'all get mad at the internet. A nigga could show up on the internet. He can have 2 bitches with him. Y'all commenting, this is what's wrong with black men. I can't stand niggas like this. You literally mad over some shit that ain't got shit to do with you. You gotta heal your darkness. You gotta ascend to your spiritual being, because spiritual beings that had too many lifetimes to care about sex and then just be like, I'm triggered in trauma by, oh, I just can't see myself dealing with a man that I gotta do this, that, and the third. You gotta get over that. Because the moment something happened and you triggered, or the moment that something happened and you triggered, the fact that you are triggered is a testament to you have not healed. And when you have not healed, it's saying you cannot grow. And when you cannot grow, that means you're stagnant. And when you're stagnant, you're out of the flow of the current, meaning that you're not current. Meaning that you're now stuck. And then that consciousness every day bleeds into the next day. You're a robot. You're not even here. You're just doing shit for survival. All because a nigga cheated on you in 1995. That math don't math to me. All because you don't understand. That math don't math to me. All because you haven't healed that part of yourself. That math not mathing to me. So when we develop unconditional love, I will say, well, what do you mean? That means that you're just going to have orgies and threesomes every day? If you want to take it there, then yes. You mean that I'm supposed to love you while you just having sex with all of these bitches? Yes, you are. Well, what if I decide to go fuck niggas? That means you gonna love me? Yes, that's what it means. That's what it means. Oh no, I don't think I could do that. I don't think I can handle that. You still haven't healed that part of you that's hurt. Cause you know for a fact, if you get triggered, you gonna pull out your gun. It's a lot of women's carrying guns, not even afraid of an attacker. They gonna use it on their damn baby daddy or their boyfriend or their husband, the nigga that they live with. Cause they using their emotions to make decisions, which is crazy. As opposed to working through your emotions, looking at the holistic point of view, like I liked you because we used to watch the drag shows together. I should have known. Ain't no straight man gonna watch goddamn the Pump It Up with Me or whatever that shit is called, Royalty or whatever that shit is called, whatever the drag show is. Oh, I knew you was bisexual when I met you. I just didn't see it. Now I understand it. Now I can get through it. Now I can get past it. Cause me, I'm in my masculine energy too. I love to eat pussy. You know what's crazy? And nobody ever says this on the internet. This is going to be an internet exclusive. Some women get off on dominating men. Some men get get turned on by being dominated by the woman. If you a man that's into being dominated by women, it's gonna be a woman that's into dominating you. That's unconditional love. Conditional love is, I'm a man, I gotta be dominant, and I'm a woman, I gotta be submissive. But that ain't a part of your energy signature. At scale, you wanna be a dominant figure in your relationship. That is your seed. You want to peg niggas from the back. That is your seed. What are you talking about, Hood Mystic? You so nasty. Google it. Google men being pegged by women. You're gonna get 1 million videos on YouTube. That's 1 million motherfuckers that recorded it. Imagine the motherfuckers that's not recording it. I'm sure you into the tens of millions of niggas that's kind of getting turned on and loving that type of shit. Now, at the same level, that's your seed. You want a sexy woman to dominate you. Cool. Her seed is she want a submissive man to dominate. We're talking about unconditional love. We're talking about luxury. We're talking about manifestation. And we're talking about being clear. Because at the same time, whatever you think is so taboo and too crazy, I bet you I can Google search it. And there's some motherfuckers that's doing it right now in their bliss. Doing all of the freaky shit that you be thinking about, but you haven't set that Venusian seed. It's BBWs, SS BBWs that are erotic dancers, erotic models, sex workers. Because their seed was to be successful sex workers that are BBWs. Right? And so what they manifest, they getting more money than you pretty hoes. Because you pretty hoes kind of confused about the thing because you want a boyfriend, but then you want tricks. You want to be goddamn Savannah James, but then sometimes you want to be Sierra, but then sometimes you want to be JT from the City Girls, but then sometimes you want to be Young Miami. But you don't want to be the one that's married, the married version. You want to be the rap version lyric. So your seed is the music that you listening to. Your seed is the filter for your consciousness. And that math ain't mathing for me. Your seed should be darkness. Your seed should be your own bullshit that you overcame, that you begin to work through so you can develop unconditional love. Unconditional love is intelligence. It is perseverance. It is guidance. It is at the smallest scale what would happen if you place the seed into dirt. Unconditional love is not attached to a person, place, or a thing. Unconditional love is attached to a universal process of growth and development. So this universal process is a rose seed is going to grow into a rose. A lima bean seed is going to grow into a lima bean. And there is no human being that can come and say, oh, nigga, that ain't no lima bean. That's a damn cantaloupe. So when you talk about your life, when you talk about working through your darkness, when you put on your shield of unconditional love, that becomes the thing for which you stand in, that thing for which you are elevated into, because that is your intention. As above, so below. So below is working with the earth energy, is working with the mist, is working with chaos. As above is working with the moons, the cycles. That is the priestess. But I'll get further into this. When I talk about the Empress. I just was doing the research on this shit, and it just was like very exciting to me that I had to share and do a video in the realms of scientific spirituality. Fractals, my friends, fractals, very powerful and important shit when it comes to your spiritual development. Another aspect that's powerful in your spiritual development is psychedelics. We taking this thing further into the area of psychedelics this weekend. If you're interested in what I'm talking about, it's going to be very quiet, hush, hush, because we're doing something that people haven't done. And I'm not even going to give no hints. The only way that you'll figure out what I'm talking about is if you go to whiterabbitpsych.com, join our email list, and keep your eyes open for A, an article on Melmac, and B, a special product, a special top secret, classified product in the realms of psychedelics that is definitely going to reveal your mind and put you on another level spiritually, psychically, and no cap in my rap, no front in my pump. And I'm here to just continue the message, and hopefully this video is useful, this video is helpful. It allowed you to tackle and look at your darkness as opposed to running away from your darkness as the way to manifest, as the way to ascend, as the way to grow. So shout out to y'all for being good sports, listening in, taking notes, hopefully gaining some deeper understanding and tapping into the spiritual journey. I've been your host, the Hood Mystic, representing hoodmystic.com, columbianexchange.com, and whiterabbitpsych.com. Peace and unconditional love from my family to yours. If they make you cry because those tears are the things for which you've been holding in for all of this time. So we're generally not conscious to our tears and our pain, but the mushrooms are like little robots that seek out the pain and push it out of your body. So you might just be chilling and find yourself just the tears just coming down your eyes. That's because that's the releasing of that darkness. That's the releasing of that shit that you hold on to. It's all about purging and letting this shit go so you can really hear and understand your natural processes. So if there's any questions or comments before I get out of here, I think that'll be cool. Oh yeah, I did say I was gonna do a random oracle. So I'm gonna ask my cards, how can one get closer to the goddess in a way that I haven't actually spoken to on this video? And I'm gonna give this cards 3 shuffles in reference to the divine 3 number of the goddess. Peace to the tribe, peace to the collective. How can we get closer to you, goddess? Help us all understand that for which escapes us at the moment. Shit. So we have the 7 of Wands, followed by the 3 of Swords. So, gonna bring this up. Keywords for Crowley Tarot. I done had this book for so many years. One of my favorite books, though. One of my favorite books. But let's deal with the 7 of Wands first. And I'm not doing this to like act like I need it. I'm just doing it so I could just be unbiased in explaining what I'm explaining, because I asked the cards, how can we connect to the goddess and explain it to us in a way that I did not explain it. So I'm going further and to show you that I kind of explained it wholly, but we're going to go further. And so I'm just going to read from the encourages section. The 7 of Wands encourages bravely rescuing an apparently lost cause. The 3 of Swords encourages opening up to an unwelcome but totally necessary insight. On the consciousness, it is the painful, sobering, but necessary insights. Now, one's in the chat, if you've been following this video and understand that these cards reference the same things that I've been talking about. The things that are painful, the things that are make you look at how you need to move forward untriggered, that are necessary because you love your husband. You love your wife. You love your children, but you're triggered and you're yelling at them, calling them a piece of shit. And nobody's making you get therapy. Nobody's making you confront your demons. So because nobody is making you, you're living with this shit. The 7 of Wands consciousness. Courageously exerting oneself for a good but waning or unpopular cause. It's not popular to do shadow work, to embrace your darkness. It's not a popular thing to say, my daddy abandoned me and it's hard for me to get over that. My mother abandoned me. It's hard for me to get over that. You know, my parent transitioned when I was a little girl and nobody ever had the time to talk to me and to make me feel good about it. So I just felt like nobody cared. So I developed an ego or a persona in relation to trauma. Man, I'm a poet. I don't even be knowing it. Shit, man. I'm not going to be up here scamming you, telling you that you need to buy something, that you need to do something, that you need to shake your ass harder. I'm going to really say you need to deal with your pain. You need to address your pain. And that's going to be the hardest shit in the world that you ever going to do. It's going to be so hard. And can't nobody offer it in a payment plan or a group of motherfuckers, because This is where you have to literally, courageously do something that don't feel good to you. And that's hard because we're not programmed to do that. We're not programmed to descend into darkness. And even though we have these crazy moments and these moments where we're crying and feeling like shit, the problem is we're not telling nobody. The problem is we're keeping it all to ourselves and we're not working through it and we're not dealing with the process of it. So courageously growing beyond one's own limitation. That's the Seven of Wands. The Three of Swords. Disappointment, weakness, sorrow, helplessness, chaos. Can y'all see that? Can y'all see that? Can y'all see that? Y'all can't see it. Hold on, let it focus. Let's say it. Chaos. Look at that. I'm telling y'all, bro. I do not be playing with this shit, bro. I do not be playing with this shit. Delusionment, renunciation, loss. Pain is growth. That is what it is. Pain is how you level up. Not buying a nigga's course. Right? And I'm not saying don't buy shit, because you're going to buy shit anyway. But I'm being specific as to what's going to bring you over the top, and that's doing this work. And I don't know, man. I don't know what's going to inspire you to do the work. That's why I'm saying it ain't no specific money or thing. It's really a deep understanding within yourself, within your life story, what you view as dark, what you view as pain, and begin to look at it from a different perspective and really wholeheartedly be untriggerable and tap into the energy of unconditional love. Because unconditional love is the process of no matter how bad your life was in this go around, you can come back again and now you the goddamn president of Microsoft. You go rich, poor, male, woman, black, white. You go back and forth, this chaotic, weird thing. But when you scale back, it's just an experience that creates duality. It creates purpose. Because our purpose is to understand. Our purpose is to know. Our purpose is not to have. Because we are spiritual, unlimited, like we are so powerful at a spiritual level. We already have had everything there is to have in our DNA. It's more of understanding and becoming more aware. And that is the process that we're bringing about. But this process is a manifestation process. Because the seed is the root of manifestation. The problem is we don't plant our seed, nor we don't know what our seed is going to manifest. It's more likely when I ask a person what you're trying to get out of the situation, the first thing a motherfucker is going to say, well, I don't know. I'm not really sure. That's like having a garden and saying what you plant and then, well, I don't know. I'm not really sure. You don't know if you're planting turnips or a coconut tree. That don't even make sense. You planting an oak tree in a garden? That don't make sense at all. So be clear. The only way you can be clear is to understand this process. So it's a deep thing and we could talk about it for hours and hours and hours and hours. This is why I kind of did like a little pregame, and we'll talk about the Empress in full detail. And this will be a good reference and a good background. If you want to tap into the High Priestess article, click the link in the description that says Substack, and that is where you could get access to the Priestess for $5 a month to get the full article, which is going to be a doozy. I think these articles are going to get deeper and deeper as we go along. That's how I feel. This Empress article is going to be super, super deep. So if you want to get access to that, $5 a month, link in the description. So thank you. Y'all have a great day. Tap into your darkness. Be so free, be so pure that everything happens in your favor. Because if I'm planting that seed, I'm planting that seed for you. Everything is going to happen in whoever's watching this video's favor. Peace to y'all.
Nobody's gonna love me like you do. It's your voodoo, and I'm so amazed. Resurrect me from my grave. You love me, I'm your slave, but that's what you do. We can not be in love. No boundaries, you look surrounding me. It's not a game. I win it all because I got you. It's all about you, yeah. Be not ashamed, cause I love everything about you. I'm attuned to you. We can not be in love. No boundaries, you look surrounding me. Needle in the haystack. Found me, balanced on my chakras. I'm grounded, unlocked on my lockers. Astounded by what love can do when I'm loving you. No boundaries, your love surrounding me. 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 I'm just a magician, looking for some loving. Hoping you'll give me a chance. I wanna join your coven. We can do a ritual. The man right here, everything mystical. You mind if I lick you slow? Without you, I've been miserable. I guess I need some company. I need my women crush Wednesday humping me. Call your girlfriends, now they jumping me. Open his portals, guess it's up to me. Manifestation, have your way with me, goddess. I submit to your grace. Set your intentions. You can do it all while sitting on my face. Holding on and letting go. Na 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 na. The ones who burn you call. Na 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 na. Promise me you'll love me so. Na 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 na. Future we